Recording in progress.
Peace, 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 family.
Islam.
Islam. Let's give everybody a minute. Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. Nothing much.
Greedy.
Greetings.
Greedy.
I heard you say I greeted.
That food looked delicious.
It was. It was, Ma.
Okay.
Islam Alonzo.
We just
Islam Noble.
had some catfish.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Was it
I
good?
cooked some catfish. It was delicious.
I know it was. How your day going, Ma? Can you hear me, Ma?
Yeah.
I said, how your day? Hey.
Good.
We just gonna give everybody a chance to log in. I usually try to wait till the 5-minute mark. Islam, Brian. So after we do our Moorish American prayer, like we're only gonna do 5 minutes on our temple and school page, and then we off, okay?
All right.
Islam.
Islam, sister.
Islam, ma'am. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you.
Great to see you as well. Great to see you.
Mama Bay.
Hello, everybody.
Islam.
I'm working, so that's why you can't see me because I'm working, but I'm listening.
All right.
How's everyone doing today?
How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
All right, we coming. Yeah, it's time, y'all. No, I just need to get my glasses, the ones that I can see out. Yeah, I couldn't see out of those. So I need to get my good ones that I can see out. Yeah, those better. Thank you. Ooh, I'm blind. Thank you, babe. One more minute, we ready.
Islam motto.
I'll send an email off. 1 second. All right. All right, Noble. With that being said, Noble, you definitely can log on our Temple and School page if you don't mind, my Noble.
Islam.
And let me know when you are ready.
Islam, we're ready.
Okay. It's my fault. Hold on 1 second. I'm not ready. See, I knew somebody wasn't here yet. Yep, good time.
Recording in progress.
That's why I'm glad I waited. I don't know why. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. Don't mind me, y'all. Give me a minute. I'm just having some technical difficulties. I'm just having some technical difficulties. But don't mind me. Here I come. So with that being said, man, let's do our Moorish American prayer if nobles don't mind.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, my protector, my guide, my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, through Allah. Shalom, Malakim, Ayah, Hotel, Islam, peace, 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 peace,
Peace, peace, family. Peace, peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
I want to give gratitude to all my brothers and sisters, man, especially to our Empress and to my mom that's here. We should be having another Empress join us maybe this week, probably not this week, next week. She's been inquiring, and she's been on our Temple and School webpage. So we've been reaching out, corresponding with her. I know I have, and I know Barclay have. So Islam to that. But with that being said, Morris, we're going to dance a little bit. I'm going to be doing just snippets on YouTube once again. Once I hit that 5-minute mark, once I start talking, we're going to stop, and we're going to try to reach all our traffic to our Temple and School webpage, bbtsciencetemple.com. And we want to get all the correspondence going from there. So when we get people to, inquiring, we can do it the right way and have that traffic going through that, how can I say, system, even inquiring books and things. So we want to flood that page so all the information and anything that any more need will go strictly through there if they're serious on what they're, trying to do, Islam, instead of getting all those, how can I say, like you were saying, Empress, trolls and all that goofy stuff. We're not here for that. That's not what we're here for. So this might be the Empress, I don't know. Before we get to teaching, I always like to see who's here with us. So before we get started, I definitely want to give everybody a shout out. Let's see. Brother Rez, are you here? I know Brother Rez here. Islam, whoever, the iPhone, can you introduce yourself? Is that my mom? iPhone?
Hello?
Mom, that's you? Just iPhone?
No, I'm Willie's pad.
Okay.
I'm Willie's iPad.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to, get familiar with whoever this is iPhone. I know they put themselves on mute, but I would like to, introduce myself, and whoever's on that iPhone is to introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Yes, hello? Can you?
Yes, I can hear. You're kind of going in and out, Empress.
Jackson. I said my name is Danielle Jackson.
Hi, Daniel. How are you, Empress?
How are you?
I'm great.
Islam.
What you're the empress I was corresponding to on social media,
Correct.
and did my Mutiv get in contact with you a little bit? Barclay as well.
He did.
Islam.
Gratitude.
So gratitude to you, Empress, for being here today. And it is Sunday, and so everyone is welcome. The way I like to teach is I like to teach from a scientific matter factualness. I also like to give history. I don't like to say religion, but spirituality, because it's a synchronicity to build up the complete man. So we don't gravitate to one science to where we miss the essence of everything else. Because that's why we call this Islamism and more science. Islam. And if anyone have any questions or confused of what more science is, or what you might heard, this is school. So it's not a such thing as a dumb question, but let's please keep the questions in context. And if you have questions outside of the teachings, write them down, and I do my best to answer them from a scientific manifestation instead of my own understanding, because no one cares what I think. Islam?
Islam.
Just when I'm basing it on truth. So, I always like to deal with topics and subtopics. And so today I'm going to speak on a particular topic in more science when I use a certain vernacular. When I speak on the machinations of a non-existing, invisible Maya people. And I'm going to close it out with the math of Mayat. If any of you follow my lectures on YouTube, I also like to use different manifestations on how I use science, maybe esoterically or exoterically. In one manifestation, I did a lecture on the woman is Maya, pertaining that to the garden that produces food and life. And today, in my topic, I'm going to pertain that Mayat magic or that Mayat math to this 9 to the 9th power, to show you a lot of signs and symbols that people take as scary and they reversed it. It's your African magic, aka Hika. Islam? Talk to me, because I talk back, man. I ain't one of them teachers that you can't ask questions. So, when I speak on the machinations of a non-existing invisible Maya people, when I speak on references and different literature, because nothing's new under the sun, anything you want to learn about can be researched, especially history. The pen reveals all. You must be able to dig and use your shovel. So, it's a book by the late Ralph Ellison, and it's a book. And I like to teach, and the only way you're going to learn is if I go over and over and over. A lot of things I speak on, a lot of people be like, man, that's deep. And I'm like, well, I taught that last week or 2 weeks prior. So you must dig back into your vault, because freedom is within. And when we say keys, we have the keys. And that book was entitled The Invisible Man. And while Ellison gave, who said that, mama?
Yes.
I know my mama's go, I know, you know. See, as I speak of things and as I get historical, see, I can go all back, man. That's why a lot of the elders I be around, they be like, man, how old are you again? Because you think you talking about things when I was in your age, and I'm like, when I talk about Tony Brown's journals, and when I talk about all those lectures of John Henry Clark and Chancellor Wilson and Amos Wilson, and they was on there giving scholarship, they wasn't debating each other. They were debunking the Eurocentric and the Negrocentric propaganda. Islam? See, these are the tools that we're bringing back out. So, while Ellison gave a vivid account of what it was like to exist, yet not being recognized because of a peerless status, a few people considered the fact that an entire people can personify, which means take on that whole essence, a status of non-existence. And this book, this wisdom, because it is wisdom in science, and especially in things that's written. But you must be a scientist and research the researcher. You must be willing to do that. You must be willing to check the language. You must be willing to check the linguistics. Because if you're not willing to do that, you will promulgate a lie. I'll give you a prime example, how we talk about the Willie Lynch and this and that and the other, and no respect to anyone, because I look for light where light is. when they did that Million Man March, and all praises to Farrakhan, and he was talking about the Willie Lynch, but that's not even real. That's propaganda. The language is not right. Every scholar know I'm telling the truth. I did this at my oral dissertation on GCU campus, had everybody jaw dropping out their mouth. I said during that dispensation in first century, the word black wasn't even used to describe nationality or ethnicity. It was used in theatrics or theater. This is a proven fact. So when you're talking about context and when you're talking about history and proving things that's valid, why would anybody promulgate lynching something that's your property? It doesn't even make sense. The language is off. And so you must be willing to do that and remove your personal feeling. If not, you're not basing your understanding on wisdom and science. You're basing it on a belief or a belief system. Islam? Remove personal feeling. And the science that we do when we address history, spirituality, and law, because that is the order of the day, America's muffled question in her delusional machination of a nation. So when we speak on the word or the phrase Maya, is the real appearing as unreal, the unreal made to seem real. Stay in the context. Please stay in the context. We're talking about nationality. It is the everlasting seeming as short-lived, and that which is meant to appear as everlasting. And there is a nation within the jurisdiction of the United States that is pure Maya. It is the nation that semblance of a people, and a people made to look in the likeness of a nation. Yet they do not exist, although they have the appearance of citizens. Don't get caught up when I use the phrase citizens. Yet are citizens, but not of their own lawful government. They appear real, but are unreal. Unrealized, but seems real. Follow the science. We all were born among the so-called NBCs, and we all can proclaim our rightful status before the U.S. government. We all know that the Dred Scott and many others made legal stands before the courts in search for freedom. And all Negroes left those tribunals in want of their proper status. But in the course of this science, what we're trying to reach and how I'm trying to reach the students to understand the powerful significance, knowing your own identity, who you are, who your children are. We must understand this to discover that bond which unites divinity and matter. Understand this, that which unites divinity and matter and become God manifested in human form. Not only is that a nationality, and not only is that a shared law amidst all nations, but also constitutionally, it's enforced in the U.S. with exemption of its nationalized property. I'm just talking about constitutional law. Also, this knowledge is a comfort to the soul, and it places one back into the human family. Sorry about that. Somebody got dropped out. And it places us back in the human family and has the power to automatically cut the cord of all jurisdictions that the United States hold over misnomer Negro, blacks, and colored. This is just law. When I do the basics, when I deal with the prereqs of science, because in all teachings, even in holy books, it's going to talk about prereqs, just like in your biblical scriptures. It's going to ask you, didn't you read this in the book of Jasher? It's going to say with a J, but we know it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. But didn't you read this in the book of Yasher with a question mark? So when someone asking you something in a book, what they're asking you is, did you read this before you came here? What we're talking about or what we're explaining is prerequisites. Have anybody ever heard of that term?
Prerequisite?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Of course.
So before you promulgate something, it's some things that you should have done or should have even indulged before you got here to know how to get the answer per se. For instance, me and my mom was having a conversation how in school, a lot of times my mother can think things in her brain, but then if you have to work the problem out, if you're dealing with some type of math with formulas, the teacher's going to want you to know how to do the formula. So you got to know how to get the formula to get the answer. So it's some steps, it's some prereqs that you have to take to get to the answer. Islam? Talk to me.
Islam.
Because if I'm just talking, then I'm not making no sense.
true.
And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to do the research and say, well, I'm there. And then somebody says, well, let's see how you got there. You can't. Anybody can talk the talk. Anybody can say they know how to dissect a frog, give them a knife. They scared of blood.
Well,
So the machination
wrong.
of a hidden nation is titled because the deliberate making of a so-called black people is the most misunderstood phenomena to be revealed. In due time, our prophet did it, and prophets in the flesh today, like myself and those others, that's teaching the truth. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm trying to challenge you to use at least a tittle of your hippocampus, which is connected to your memory. So follow me when I ask my people in our questionnaire as a teacher. When I talk about words, especially definitions. When we speak on just things that we should be able to agree on. Like what is meant by the word black. So what is meant by the word black? I didn't say, well, black is, oh, I'm black and I'm proud. No, those are songs. Well, if you're going to say that, well, what about the song Stevie Wonder said? In 1492, you fell up on the shores, 700 years, educated by the Moors. What about that then? But see, we deal with catchphrases. But black, what is meant by the word black? What is meant by the word black? So the whole what's the whole word that means something in this whole question, y'all? Meant, right? What is meant by the word black?
What is meant?
Meant.
What do people mean when they say black?
Come on. So,
May I just interject?
absolutely, mother, go ahead.
When I was growing up, no so-called African American person wanted to be called black. It was an insult to be called black. Your skin could be as dark as possible, but you did not want anyone to refer to you as black.
Islam, huh? Did y'all know brunette did?
That was fight words. Those were fight words.
Yep.
You could call me a nigga, but if you call me a black nigga, I'm ready to fight.
Look, you're dead, not exactly.
And mom. And brunette, when I tell y'all, we get so caught up because we don't understand linguistics and we don't understand etymology and etymon of words and where the words come from and the root of words. When people be saying brunette, I say, well, do you know what brunette mean? I'll show you pictures of, not African, I'm talking about in Latin, so-called Latin America by Latin artists, and it's showing you pictures of brunette women.
Mm-hmm.
Brunette women with your copper color.
It doesn't mean dark hair either.
No. I mean, it's too many words that you can be like, huh, swarty? Yep. Like black pig, when you go to the Netherlands, and then they all dress up in blackface, and they say the reason why so-called Santa's helper, Santa Claus helper is black because he went down the chimney. No, we know that's garbage. The science is here. I'm just not here for the games. And black, according to science, mean deaf. Come on, man. In science and law, if we say, well, we science and law, well, you know black means deaf according to science and law. So if you go into the arena of law, why would you even describe yourself as being something as black? And then according to science and law, black means deaf. Tell me I'm lying. I didn't say black wasn't beautiful, Morris. I said according to science and law. Does black mean deaf? Yes or no? I mean, I don't know. I don't hear no one. If you don't know, then you should say you don't know. Huh?
Correct. There were more teeth.
Come on. Can a man be a Negro, black, color, or Ethiopian? No. Why? Because woman is made in the image and after the likeness of God Allah. What do you mean? The pentagram, iron leg, arm, head. That's complete man. That's complete woman. You are a Muslim. Why? 9 to the 9th to the 9th power. Man is created in the image. How? By that birth cycle. Follow the teachings, man. We got to get to a joy. Islam?
Islam.
And Seymour is the key here. The key here is black. And it's revealed as being a mere word. That's all it is a word. And all words have meaning and are subject to definition and interpretation and misinterpretation. and any grammar grade student will clearly show black as not being a color. However, virtually applying the word black as an identification of themselves do not realize they have long since been turned out as a perpetual straw man. Isn't black an adjective? When we do things, when we compare shirts, I might have on a white shirt, red shirt, orange shirts, but you're not gonna say Kari got on the white. You're gonna say Kari got on the shirt, even though it might be white. Are y'all following me? Are y'all following me? Yes, no?
Yes.
Talk to me, man. Unmute your. I talk back, because if I'm not saying nothing, tell me. And when and in the 60s they come up with this stuff. Like they in the 60s, that self-proclaimed black people learning to accept the skin they are in. But in their dictionaries, in the 1828 Webster Dictionary, it says that Americans are the copper color races found here by the Europeans. But you can't find nothing that's already here existed. I done showed y'all all over through history in our Moore's Quran, Exhumed of the Nation. Then another book, The Unsettling Truth. Then another book, American in Black and White. I show y'all in all these books how it's the same thing all over. The 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, all that stuff ain't freed you. Talk about say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. No disrespect to a song, but I'm not black and I'm not proud. You know, first they didn't know, and then they named a blackamoor when they say what? The Moor is black, black as a Moor. Swarthy Moor, black as a Moor. You had tawny Moors. Then Blackie, black. I mean, we have to get to a point to where we can agree as a people, because I'm down with reparations. But I know in order to get reparations, you must restore yourself back to where you were before you were tampered with, and then people have to agree with it, not set trip talk about, oh, my tribe is this. I get your tribe, but it's one nationality, many cultures. I'm not here to debate anyone. I'm here to spread this science. That's why even if blacks were to conquer their so-called white rulers, they would still be losers by becoming the enemies they once hated. Did y'all just hear what I just said?
Yes.
See, that's the problem with these Negroes. They talk about this, and I said, but when you do this, you're going to become the enemies that you once hated. That don't even make sense. But to know this, Moors, they must open their eyes to see the greatest weapon against the Western world. And what is that? Truth. Nothing hides the heart of a man from himself like vanity. See, that king ego is always a sturdy foe to fight. See, we know this, man. This is proven. We almost done and we get into the topic. So is it a legal impossibility for the so-called Negroes, blacks, and colored people to free themselves without the achievement of a good education in divine, national, and civil laws? Such needed learnings are not nearly as complicated as Harvard. Why? Because you getting that Harvard education right here. I'm telling you. I didn't go to the university to get a good job. My parents would tell you. They like, ain't no reason you can teach here. They're going to allow you to teach. You might as well create your own. That's what I'm doing. All I need is the people. This is a Harvard. We can do a history bowl with some Harvard and with some people from Cambridge and Princeton, and I guarantee you we'll be able to make them sit down. They'll be like, well, we didn't. Yeah, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. And then your own people will stop because they haven't went to a higher level of learning. We stuck in an area of what? Miscued thinking. And Yale, or the American Bar Association, which is the ABA, they will have you believe. I went to these universities to prove who I am and pull all our teachings out their libraries. It was done. It was done in their universities, in their libraries. And then as my connections, as I grew in academia, and because in colleges, you have to turn your papers into a system y'all call it Turnitin system. And the universities done got slick. That's how they try to keep your papers and things. And you can't use your information again for another paper. But see what I did, let me tell y'all what I did. Let me tell you, see, I think way higher than people. I copyright all my stuff. I got the master. Y'all can't use my stuff for academic unless they pay me. Y'all don't hear me. See, y'all don't hear me. See, any college student to know, they use your information to cross-reference it. They'll try to publish your teachings, your writings, because they're peer-reviewed. You got to imagine hundreds of students that's done the college research and have to prove their point, no matter how they feel, and all that academia papers. That's how I'm able to put out literature. That's how I'm able to go on the college campus and speak from peer-reviewed scholarship, which is authority in academia. I'm just telling the facts. And y'all got to know that, ironically, the first Bible. So most people in the West do not realize that the foundation of the U.S. laws is lodged between European and Latin languages. A lot of people didn't even know that. But let's deal with that. When people talk about the first Bible, and I tell people, the first Bible wasn't no, what was it? Man.
What?
Some dude like Josephus. And I'm like, that ain't no first Bible. He talk about him. He put himself in it. That's a pen name. I mean, if a person will read it and understand it, you'll be like, oh, but most of us don't read. We won't even, we'll just post pictures of books. I said, I know you ain't read it. So if you went to court, they'll be like, lock this clown up. That's what I'm happening. That's what I'm saying about what we do. We post things, and I'm like, that ain't no first Bible. That's a person that wrote themselves as prophets.
All I know is that growing up, the majority of Christians only use the King James Version.
Okay, so let's deal with it, Ma. So today's United States churches, governments, and state offices must swear upon what? They must swear upon what, y'all?
A Bible.
Yep.
That's what they ask them to swear on.
Written in Koine Greek. So none of the European system of education are designed to free the misnomer Negro from his or her Western psychic enslavement. Thinking, follow me. Just follow. I'm talking about this miseducation that Carter G. Woodson spoke of. Carter G. Woodson wrote the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, and The Education of the Negro prior to 16 something. I forget the year. I have both books. If you want them PDF, all you got to do is get with your boy. So, on a more personal note, Moors, the basis of all laws are more of a person's birthrights that rest upon two immutable pillars of status and jurisdiction. And you first learn these two principles, combined with all testimonies in any lawful endeavor that you decide to undertake. And your final judgment will be honest and just. I promise you, Moors. And the most powerful secret slave laws prevailing today are active as long as Negro, blacks, and colored attend the schools and believe in those Eurocentric churches. That mind frame, I'm not talking about the science, because I'll break the Bible down and teach the lessons. Our prophet agree with the lessons. I tell you from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. I'll tell you about Ruth the Moabitess and Tamar. I'll tell you about all those so-called Moabitess women. So we can speak of these things, but when we speak of truth, for example, to know the true status of any Negro, black, or colored person, a seeker must learn the origin and definition of these words. So do not forget these words were first property labels, family, given to slaves by the slave owners, then written into the 1779 United States Constitution under the classification of the what? The 3/5 clause. During that time, family, as the great Constitution of the United States of America was written, or which we like to use the vernacular, the USA. And then in vernacular, we like to use the NBC, which is the Negro, the black, or the colored, were those who had been reduced from African nationals to chattel property by the people and for the people. This made the slave term of Negro, black, and colored legally branded upon the African descendants and lawfully enforceable by all U.S. courts, family. And in 1857, the United States Supreme Court, that infamous, what happened in, it was on what? What was that, Jeopardy, the Dred Scott decision? They broke that down on Dred Scott decision. People was answering it, and everybody looking like, dumb in the face. I'm like, are y'all listening? I hope Morris listened to Negro, blacks, and color was never You will never be equal as a citizen, whatever you want to call yourself. And upheld the original denationalization intent of the slave marks, what? Negro, black, and colored. And later, in the 1868 Congressional 14th Amendment, the words, all persons born, still meaning commercial property, Moors. See, a lying attorney is going to tell you wrong. Those ones of the British Annotated Registry, see what I know now compared to back then? Man, it's like light years. That's why I stay reserved, because I know how to defend myself. How I know how to defend myself in law, and I don't know how to obey the law and then administer the law in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's the only way you're going to be obeyed and stand up truthful to it. Resurrection. And incorporating the original 3/5 clause written in the U.S. Constitution made the newly freed Negro, black, and colored believe he or she are citizens. And truth is, family, there is no one who is able to make any property a citizen as long as it continues to what? Self-claim, or which I like to call self-incriminate, hangman. The self-claim, the name of property, and is still nationalized via ownership of another government. That's the problem with us, Morris. We can't agree to nothing. Well, I'm not a Moor, I'm not this. Well, okay, well, huh? And truth is, Moors, the definition of the words NBC has never been changed in Webster's or law dictionaries neither. Any of the three branches of the United States government that have jointly enslaved the nationals of Northwest and Southwest shores of so-called Africa, a Kebalan, a Maxima, whatever language you use. Islam?
Islam.
I told y'all we ain't gonna be long. We're not gonna be long. We only 30 minutes in. So as I speak on the miseducation, because that's where I'm going, the transmutation of the mind, the alchemical process of your thinking. When I say my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge, that's Hosea 4:6. Gotta get some libations. So I like bringing things to our remembrance and just have us to use our hempel compass and say, aha, that light bulb moment, that illumination moment. So let's have a illumination moment, and let's, how can I say it, destroy belief systems and just what people may have told us, and we may not have done, not even a tittle of research. So let's do some things, and when we say check, we just say Islam. If you don't agree, don't say Islam. Because we're not going to play that game. We're just saying Islam and we don't know shit. Excuse my candor. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't mean to curse, but y'all knew it was coming. So, yeah, my people that are lost due to a lack of knowledge. Why? Because we refuse to learn. That's like something that we choose to do. Watch this. Kum, K-U-M, Ba, B-A, Y-A-H. I'm about to break this down for you, Empress. I'm glad I found my paper. So, the so-called black slaves sing songs in the so-called Hebrew language. Hebrew, everybody will say Hebrew, Hebrew. We know all that. But just stay in context. Many of us have learned and even sang Kumbaya, my Lord, at some point in our lives. Islam?
Islam.
Okay, thank you. But most people aren't aware of the origin of the song or meaning of the words. See, as I learned, a person that's illiterate and never had a damn language or alphabet not finna teach me shit. You're not finna tell me what a word means. Your ass could never read. So what made you think that you were less than somebody else that didn't know how to read and you knew how to read from the fucking womb? Huh? Talk to me, man. Because we got to get back to who we are. I don't wear this fez for no reason. This is nobility. This ain't no dunce hat.
No.
Communication is universal.
Come on, man. Even when I was in elementary, we were told that it meant. And a lot of people thought it meant it for a long time. Come by here. And when I be saying it, people are like, oh, I ain't know that. I'm like, you a damn lie. I said, your mama told you that. Big mama told you that. They're like, yeah, me, come by here, my Lord. And everybody be like, no, it don't. Be like, oh, so they ain't never told you that. You a lie. And that's what we'll do. We'll just say, no, no, no. I'm like, come on, we're trying to resurrect. The only way we're going to fix something is admitting something is wrong. Islam, we ain't just finna be fixing shit that don't need fix. The shit don't even make sense, excuse my candor. And we sit on bumping the logs. And I'm like, well, if you ain't real, let me just poke your ass with 18 needles. I bet you say, ouch. So here is breakdown. We trying to resurrect ourselves. We got to be vocal in this movement. So here's the words in so-called Hebrew. The cum or the K-U-M or the Q-U-M in the Strong's lexicon. Just like when I break down the biblical scriptures, when they talk about the girdle and the sash and the turbans and the jewel, it's talking about your attire. What the followers of Yahshua was fair, what the Nazarites wore, same thing you see me in. So the Strong's lexicon, 6965, the cum, stand up, arise. And anybody want to fact check that? We can fact check that. We can stop that right here, talk about something come by here. Where the hell we get that from? We just fact check this with the lexicon. I hope Moors know what lexicons are when they talk that, oh, I'm an Egyptologist, I'll read this. Okay, well, let's deal with the lexicon. Oh, I made a mistake. See, that's the problem. You play too damn much, and I ain't playing. A scholar ain't playing. Yes, you can be sincerely wrong, but you should be able to fact check things. So the cum, the K-U-M or the K-U-M in the Strong Lexicon, 6965, stand up and arise. The ba. Now the ba does not, and I quote, have any meaning along so-called Hebrew dialect, but may be an abbreviation. It's abbreviation. So when we use the word Abba, the A-B-B-A, the Abba, I can give my, how can I say it? My scholarly based off research, based off cross-referencing with language. I can give an educated, how can I say it? Not a matter-factual, but I can give an educated synopsis or bring you to the fact that I can translate this and say, in this context, that ba can translate, if we're going to use Abba pertaining to a father, we can put that together. But I'm going to say it's unconfirmed. Because I'm not going to just make things up, but I'm saying based off the language and based off historicalness, when you break things down and syllables and things, I'm breaking down the ba. Islam? As father, walk with me. And then the Yah, the Y-A-H, the Strong's lexicon, the 30 to 50. This word is translated as Lord in scripture, referring to who? The God of Israel. Yes or not? The Yah. Research in the Strong lexicon, 3050. See, we have to be willing to do the work, man. We have to be willing to do that instead of just being all emotional, saying, oh, no. No, because this saves you. Islam, talk to me.
Islam.
See? Watch, y'all. Watch as we do linguistics. So when we do etymology, the meaning of words, I'm trying to get you to think again. We mathematicians. So watch the etymology, meaning of the word Vatican, and watch how I break this down. So you got Sanskrit, Vati, V-A-T-I, or Vati, means what? It blows. That is linked to the old High German, Feder, F-E-D-E-R, for what? Father. And there is an exact match to the Sanskrit with the German Vati, or Vati, V-A-T-I, that translates as father. Watch this linguistics. So when we deal with the Vati, comma, can, the Vatican, the Vatican would mean what? Dog father. Watch how I deal with them. I'm going to take it to science. Since can from Vatican is the Spanish word for what? Dog, right? Come on. Oh, y'all don't, I'm teaching. See, I'm teaching. Watch this. As related to dog star Sirius, that resides in the constellation Canis Major. Y'all ain't even connecting that, have y'all? Come on. It's higher science. Islam? Everybody on mute.
Islam.
Nobles. Dog spelled backwards is God. And thus Vatican would also mean Godfather, in which the so-called Pope is also known as Papa, since the Spanish Pope means Papa. The Italian Verdi, Vitter, Vater, Fitter, translate into English as what? See. Follow the science. It is part of the reason why the Pope is also referred to as what? Do anybody know?
What? I don't.
The Holy See.
The Holy See.
Come on, man. Lasana Seti means what? The Holy See. Seat, headquarters, which shows you who is keeping everyone from spiritually evolving. See, I'm dealing with higher science. That's why I travel all over. And it's what it is. We connect the atmosphere. We connect what's above is to below. A supreme mathematician can do this. Watch this. So when a person says the circle and the square, you can't put a circle in a square. And I say, au contraire, mon frère. Au contraire, mon frère. I can put the misquoted swastika in it as well. Cause watch, here go the circle. Bam, line down the middle, line down the middle. Then I put a little circle in the middle. Watch what I do. 90, 90, 90, 90. Ain't that 360?
Yep, sure is.
The total degree equals 360. The parameter of what? Pi. When my young students say n, I'm like, okay, we can deal with n, because you're right. You know what I mean? That's the diameter. The area equals n. A radius with the little 2 at the top. My mathematicians know exactly what I'm talking about. Now let's deal with the square. Y'all ready? Here go the square. Bada boom, bada bing. A square in the corner, square in one corner, square in one corner, square in another corner. Well, we got 90, 90, 90, 90, right? Yep. Talk to me. Okay, so total degrees equals what? 360, right? Correct. Parameter equals 4. The length area equals 2. So when you get the phrase of squaring the circle, like when I have to do the real math equation, I get the square. I'll show y'all a picture of it. And you get the circle, man, you get the lines, you get the little check mark in going that way. And then you get a radius going for I like to call it the Mason-Dixon line in chess. When you go down the Mason-Dixon line, corner to corner, radius, that equals 1. And so when you circle it, you see that little bit of line in the top, a little bit in there, square, 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 square. And the theoretical solution to the problem is to construct a circle with radius equaling 1, diameter equaling 2, and a square with length equaling what? 1.77245, where the area of the circle and the square will both be what? Like the kids say, n. I like to say pi, right? Islam? Talk to me, man. I can do the same thing with this compass. I'm just using my tools, which is in our Morse Quran, chapter 5. The closest whole number approximation that yields a circle and a square with similar areas is a circle with a diameter equaling 9, radius equal 4.5, and a square with the length equaling 8, where the area of the circle would be approximately 63.6, and the area of the square would be 64, right? Come on, my mathematicians.
Right.
I mean, what? I mean, so when somebody talking that mumbo jumbo about, oh, that's stupid, like circling the square, and they have a fez on their head, and I say, what the hell you think the hex alpha is? What? So you telling me the graduation cap and the fez is not synchronized, and the graduation cap and the tassel, all this? You telling me, oh man, something wrong with you, man? I gotta check your temperature, Mo.
360 degrees, you gotta graduate on that 9.
I gotta check the temperature, Brian.
Islam.
No way you can say something crazy like that and call yourself a mathematician. That's asinine, and the elementary student know better than that. Why? Because I teach this in elementary science. This is elementary science, what I'm teaching. We almost there. So as I stated earlier, Morris, the goal of supreme mathematics, not when you break it down A to Z and 1 to 3, we know all that, but I'm talking about when you can use it, is to convey knowledge and information that is usable, able to be used and applicable, able to be what? Applied, which I like to call applied science, aka applied mathematics. Walk with me. For this reason, we attempt to metaphorically circle the square or take the usable and applicable components of both mathematics and what? Numerology. Since both of these fields are what? African or Moorish, whatever you want to call it, in origin, or the root, or the etymology,
or the appellation, where it comes from, aka the origin. Somebody talk to me. So what made you think and what made you teach your kids that they stupid? Because I'll wait. We got to stop accepting mediocre. We got to stop accepting the less of. And the field of mathematics, called applied mathematics, is emphasized due to it being readily practical, meaning you can go to it. Applicable, meaning you can use it. It is through this form of mathematics, in conjunction with science, that potential, the so-called African, the adapt, the more, the African creation energy, the supreme mathematic energy, can be transformed into kinetic or active creation energy for the purpose of achieving the goal of creating everything needed for the survival and the well-being of us as Moorish Americans that claim to be that, for us, by us. So when I speak on supreme mathematics from this context, when I speak on this Maya magic, as I give it to you as information, it gets information. So when it gets into formation, that's some type of activity, because to get information or whatever formation that you are formating, it takes some type of action. It takes some type of movement. Are y'all walking with me, or am I just talking?
We're listening.
So when we attempt to metaphorically square the circle, that's why we talk about supreme mathematics. We are supreme mathematics. We are supreme mathematics, y'all. This is your magic. And I'm just going to give an introduction because we're going to finish off next week. I'm going to show the fact that mathematics is of African or Moorish origin. I'm going to show relationships between African mathematical, Moorish mathematical objects, terms, concepts, to modern mathematical objects, terms, and concepts. I'm going to illuminate this. I'm going to show how this Hika, mathematical methods, can be used to solve certain problems not easily solved by modern mathematical methods. I'm going to show the importance that ancient Hika placed on mathematics to solve all problems, establish truth and order, which is Maya, and apply knowledge to create, to develop, and engineer any and all systems and technologies needed for survival and well-being. See, when we deal with this supreme mathematic or this African Hika, I'm going to introduce you to this stuff. It's going to be elementary educational tools for a long-term goal and mission to grow, to cultivate, to nurturing, encouraging, supporting, advancing, promoting our Moorish creativity, our inventiveness, our ingenuity, for the purpose of developing, engineering, forming, formulating, innovating, inventing, designing, building, and creating any materials, structures, machines, devices, systems, processes needed for survival. We must get back to that. We must have these infrastructures in place. And that's what this about, y'all. Oh yeah, I got 7 minutes. I'm gonna give you 7 minutes worth. I said I'm going to 3. So 7 minutes, we done. So when we talk about the origin of this mathematics, the Greek word mathema means thought. And the word mathematics is also related to the word metheus or methos, M-E-T-H-E-U-S, M-E-T-H-E-U-S. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
And it means thought. Thought that can be found in the name of the Greek deity Prometheus. Prometheus, meaning forethought. In Greek mythology family, Prometheus was the son of Venus, Greek deity called Lady of Justice. Sound familiar, don't it? Prometheus stole fire from Zeus, and gave it to humanity. Prometheus is comparable to another character in Greek mythology called Hermes, who was considered the inventor of fire, the messenger of Greek deities, and Greek deity of wisdom, writing, and invention. The fire family in the Greek mythology story that Hermes invented and Prometheus stole from Zeus to give to humanity is symbolic of knowledge or information which humanity acquires by thinking and learning. Follow the symbology, my brothers and sisters, Moors and empresses. So this fire or this knowledge could be used in either a constructive or a destructive manner. And this fire, for all intents, Moors, and purposes, is mathematics, the human thought process. And the same principles found in the Prometheus steals fire story, Moors, can be found in the biblical Genesis story of the serpent who is equated with Lucifer, the light or the torchbearer, in the Garden of Eden, who convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge, with God attempted to keep them from humanity. You see? Another story which parallels, or which the same you can compare, the Prometheus story about humanity's acquisition of fire, which is knowledge, is the story of Obasis, Osawa, Obassiosaw. Also, the burning bush tabernacle, science temple, and school. When we talk about that knowledge, that wisdom, that burning bush, it's in our bio of our school. Amongst the Efik, the EFIK people in Niger, or Nigger, that's what I like to say, in Nigger, and Niger, or in Nigeria. You talk about some Nigeria, I say Nigeria. In Africa, according to the Ekois, the Ekois story, Obasi Oswa, also spelled Abassi, the sky god and creator deity, chose not to give fire to the first humans he created. And one day, a young boy was able to steal fire from Obasi, Aswa, and bring it back to humanity. We almost done. So both the biblical story and the Greek story were molded after all these ancient African, a Kibalan, a Mexican, whatever language you want to give it, stories which predate them. The Greek deities, Prometheus and Hermes in particular, were molded after the African Egyptian deity Tehuti. Tehuti, also called Jehudi, Djehuti, Zehuti, or Zudi, Zehuti, or Thoth, Thoth, or Hath. Some people don't pronounce the T. Was the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, magic, sciences, math, and measuring time. Tehuti was a lunar deity and often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis bird or a baboon. So I want to stop right there because I think my noble Rez Pack was asking a question the other day when I was teaching, and I was showing a picture of the Baphomet, showing that it's nothing scary, showing the cold Volta, and even on the C. Freeman L hand is like up and down. It's showing you man and woman coming together. But I just broke it down, and when I was telling the noble, I have a big Egyptian Adapt manuscripts where it break down, and I said all animal figures are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. And so here's the prime example. Let me go back to what I said. Tehuti was a lunar deity and often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis bird or a baboon. Do you hear me, noble Morris? I hope he's there, because I just answered it when I said all animal type, how they try to make it scary, are nothing but pious hieroglyphs, and the Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. I can get deeper into that wisdom, but I just want to show you how we can cross-reference these teachings. So, in the Egyptian mythology, Tehuti was the husband of Mayat. Oh, we almost done. The Egyptian goddess of truth, justice, order, and divine wisdom. Tehuti was responsible for transforming the creative will of Ra, the Egyptian sun god, into action. In the Bible, it says, I am Ra. I am Ra. I'm telling you, I'll show you all this. But Tehuti was associated with the philosophical concept of the logos, meaning word or saying, an action or work, which is derived from the word lego, L-E-G-O, meaning to count or to speak or to bring in existence. Why? Because in the beginning was the word. And what was the word? Made flesh. Y'all still with me?
Islam.
Okay. So logos also is used to indicate the logic or reason or purpose and hypothesis for what? Speaking. All of this is to show that the origin of the word mathematics come from African deity Tahuti. We almost done, y'all. I just gotta you gotta have this part. Just as it has been shown that the word mathematics comes from the African deity Tahuti, it can be shown that the word number, which is essentially to mathematics, come from Tahuti's wife, an African goddess, Mayat. The etymology of the word number is from the Greek word Nemein, Nemein, or Nemein, Nemein. I hope y'all writing this down, meaning to divide, to distribute, allot, or deal out. So the Greek word Nemein, Nemein, or Nemein, is the root of the word nemesis. Nemesis. Remember when I told y'all gnosis is really genosis? When I show y'all how to spell? So, Nemesis. Nemesis is a Greek goddess who distributes or deals out retributive justice, vengeance, and divine retribution as a result of disregarding another Greek goddess called Themis, Lady Justice, who was the mother of Prometheus and personification of divine order and law. And both Nemesis and Themis were worshipped by the Greeks in a temple called what? Rhamnios. Rhamnios. Rhamnous. And the prefix Ram or Ram or Ram, Rham, in the word Rhamnios. Rhamnios. Rhamnios comes from the Greek word Ramata or Ramata or Ramata. Rhamata, meaning words, meaning to utterance or a command. And the suffix, the nous, in the Greek word Rhamnios, comes from the Greek word nous, nous, meaning mind or intellect. So the relationship Moors between the nous, which is mind, intellect, divine utterance, and Mayat will be discussed in our next teaching. The Mayat, or the math of Mayat, the concepts that these Greek goddesses, Nemes and Themis, represent, or these representations, and they represented, they all were taken and molded after the African goddess Mayat. And I want to stop right there, man. Islam?
Islam.
Any questions? We got to get back to thinking, man. We must get back to, when I say if it's a miseducation, then more science is not propaganda. More science is, like we like to say in academia, prove it. There's nothing wrong with that. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things and hold fast to what is good. So what's wrong with me saying this in history? It speaks of this. I should be able to cross-reference my history in all walks of history and academia, not with a brother or sister that just basing their understanding off their belief system and what you've been programmed. I have no interest in that. And I have no interest in trying to tell the people that feel they okay and that they're black and this and then the other. I have no interest in trying to do that to no one. A person can believe and feel however they want. That's on them. That's why the law says you have a right of a nationality and a right to claim it and a right to change it. So you can be who you are. I know who I am. And the only way we're going to get back to who we are is enough people that understand that on a legal, on a historical, and a lawful fact, even a religious perspective. And so with that, I open the floor. Any questions?
Just want to say gratitude, Noble, for the illumination. Thank you so much for giving more in-depth explanation to that question. Thank you.
And gratitude.
Noble, I just want to say that one of the things you mentioned at the beginning, one of the words, context,
Mm-hmm.
which I see a lot of people now, they are not looking at things in the proper context or historical context of things. So that's very important too, is to look at things in the context.
You know, when I
Right context.
yes, because when I speak of things, I don't speak. Yes, I raise my voice because I'm a passionate person, but I break everything I'm pertaining on law and the context on nationality. If we say reparations, if we say nationality, well, I'm gonna break things law down. I'm gonna break the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment down to show you the lies that our own people have been promulgating. I'm gonna show you what we supposed to do if we want some reparations, because I'm down with reparations. I'm down with that. But if we're going to be down with that as a people, we must collectively agree to restore ourselves back to our original state. We must.
Yep.
That's the only way. I don't all that having them debates, all having these old educators on there talking this mumbo jumbo, hating on. Listen, you had people up there hating on Obama. Or you had all them old so-called scholars hating on Obama, and Obama the only one that told you have a nationality. Obama, the only one that broke out the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. He said you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. And he said the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. It also says that no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and the right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. And did nobody want to speak of that? Everybody jumped around that. Did nobody want to see what he was talking about? When he said, I'm not black, on Time Joyner Morning Show. When he said, according to science and law, black means deaf. Nobody don't want to bring that up, and that's there. Because I'm not on no one side. Remember this, I don't have a dog in the race. But I can tell you about laws. I can tell you about things in your face that it takes yourself to pull up yourself from your bootstraps. And I tell you the history about, which we like to talk about, the religious rights of the indigenous people. The rights of the indigenous people. And how we are a tribe on paper. And so I have no biasness, you know what I mean? But it's nothing wrong for the lion and the lamb to lie down at night and we wake up in the morning and no one will be harmed. The law says we have a right to dress a certain way, to teach our children our history, to not assimilate with no one outside of our culture and our spirituality. Read the laws. The laws say this. Damn it, if the Mormons doing it, if the Amish been doing it and not worrying about nothing's going on, what's our problem? Because when you see this right here, this 9, when I go up like the field goal, I haven't even got deep in it. Baby, you looking at 9 to the 9th power. I promise you. This Supreme Hika. I will show you this all through. All the different symbols that I showed on my page when my mom had pictures of art. This is all 9. When you see this, they all steal it. It's your science. I promise you. And so that's just where I'm at with it. Here go one of my favorite symbols. I'll break this down. That's 9. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know the so-called eye of horse. That's 9 too. This is 9. You're looking at 9. You're looking at 9. So if anybody come with anything different, how can they say it's science and we break it down 9? As above, the sacred geometry fracture structure of the solar system is similar to the smaller atom. Like we break it down, all scientific matter pertaining to the body. But I just want to show pictorial while I got the floor open. Even the spiral growth of the weather, the spiral growth of the fetus. Logarithmic, we talk about that, where we at? That cycle, how it goes in that spin. Logarithmic, that spin, that cycle. You know what I mean, y'all? You know what I'm talking about? You go. And so that's what this science talking about, man. So yeah, man, it's you. What's above is below. The science is us. It's connecting ourselves to God. That's more science. When we say God and man is one, the rest of this science is history, law, and civics. And the divine comes first.
Yeah.
The divine must come first to give you some calmness, to give you peace. When I say peace, 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 it must be real. It must be a peace. And so I just come from passion. When I come from laws, when a person going to come for me and they say, well, they were so passionate. I don't give a damn how passionate you are if you basing it just on nothing. Like when Khalid Muhammad was debating the European attorney, and the European attorney was up there trying to say, well, I'm a lawyer. Don't nobody give a damn about you, you lying lawyer. It's in your Bible about you lying lawyers. I give you all the scriptures. See, they come with that garbage. The lawyers lie. It's all in your biblical scriptures. Woe to you lying ass lawyers. Huh?
Facts.
And so that's why when I come with these teachings, I just come to challenge us, and I'm not here for no debate. I'm not here for none of that. So, Moors, if anyone interested to learn, to be a part of the teachings, please inquire on bbtsciencetemple.com. bbtsciencetemple.com. Because I will be deleting this lecture because I'm not going to be doing any more uploads. But gratitude for everyone that's came. And do anyone have any other questions? We good, Morris? Everyone good?
Gratitude for the teaching sheet once again.
Man, just gratitude to everyone, man. Everybody keep yourself healthy, man, and keep your spirits up, man, because your mind and your body, your spirit must agree as one. We must be a living example of these teachings, and we must be able to take care of ourselves. So with that being said, man, let's give our Moorish American prayer, and we up out of here. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth. Oh, somebody else can say it. I'm sorry. We good?
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Ali. Shalom Alakim. Ayash Ayah, Hotel, Islam, peace, 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 peace.
I know Noble brother Alonzo Bay was out. I don't know if you can do the benediction. Are you available, Noble? If not, let me know and we'll just wrap it up. Yeah, I think Brother Alonzo probably out and about as he's logging in. I think so. So gratitude to family, man.
Still hate.
Islam family, and peace, Moors. Peace. Peace.
Recording stopped.